Feta is one of my favorite funky cheeses, and the really good ones come packed in this salty, cloudy brine. A lot of people just toss this once they're done with the cheese, but frankly, that's a little idiotic because there's a lot of really good flavor in here, and I'm gonna show you how to cook with it. So first of all, what is brine? Brine is just a fancy word for salty water. This salty water though is a little special because it's got extra cheesy goodness in it. A lot of people use brine to keep lean meats like chicken and pork super moist while they're cooking. And today, we're gonna use this brine to make this pork chop super tasty. So to brine your pork chops, all you need is a plastic bag, which you just put down in a big cup or Pyrex measuring bowl. And you're just gonna take your brine, pour it in the bag. And if you don't have this much brine when you start off, that's okay. You can freeze it, freezes quite well, and then when you have enough, defrost it. Then you take your pork chops. We have some beautiful bone-in specimens here, and just set them down in the bag. Two, and you just kind of want to make sure they're both submerged. Press out extra air. Seal them up, and then you're just gonna take these and pop them in the fridge for 4 to 5 hours. Okay, so now these pork chops have been brining for about 4 hours. Take them out. And then you're just gonna blot off the excess moisture. Get them as dry as you can. And then just set them on a baking sheet lined with a wire rack. Now we're just gonna pop them in a 225-degree oven until they reach an internal temperature of 110 degrees. Because feta brine is nice and salty and a little bit tangy, it makes a perfect cooking liquid, particularly for plain things like rice or pasta. Today, we're gonna use it to make rice, so I've just got about 2 cups of rinsed white rice, and then I've got the feta brine, water if I need it. What you're gonna do is just take a skewer or chopstick or a very clean stick you found outside, take it, stick it down directly in the rice, and then take your fingers down so they just touch the top of the grains. You then pull it back so the tip of your stick is just touching the rice, and then where your fingers are is how much liquid you need to add. So I'm just gonna pour in brine. And it's not quite enough to reach my fingers, so we're just gonna supplement with some water. So we're just gonna cover this. Get it over to the stove, and then we're gonna turn this bad boy on high. We're gonna bring it to a rapid boil. So for our final cheesy application, we're gonna make a pan sauce using feta brine instead of using chicken stock. So you can see I've already poured off the burnt butter that we seared the pork chops in. So we're just gonna turn the stove back on, like medium heat. There's still a little butter left in there, so we're just gonna take some shallots and some garlic and give those a quick saute. I'm just waiting for the shallots to get translucent and the garlic to get nice and aromatic. All right, that's pretty good. So now we're gonna deglaze with just a little bit of vermouth. You can also use white wine. Just take your wooden spoon and scrape up all those little burnt bits. And then we're gonna take our feta brine, add that. Give it a good stir. And then just let that reduce by about half. You can turn the heat up a little bit if you want. You gotta resist the urge to stir and mess with it too much. All right, that's pretty good. Now we're just gonna add a splash or two of cream. I like to make a paste of equal parts butter and flour, and then you can just kind of crumble that in there. And as the butter melts, the flour will disperse and thicken your sauce. And we have a beautiful, garlicky, salty, slightly tangy pan sauce. As you can see, we now have a meal that's absolutely infused with cheesy, tangy, feta-y goodness. And now that you've seen all these wonderful ways we can use feta brine, I bet you'll think twice before you pour it down the drain. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on Eating Trash with Claire. Lifehacker. Bong!